I don't want to do a long-winded intro that kills my watch time, so I'll make it snappy. We've already done 5 pitchers that I like, so now it's time for 5 position players that I like. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, so without further ado, here's 5 hitters that I like for the 2021 season. Nick Castellanos was weird last year. Heck, the entire Reds offense was weird last year. As a team, they had a .245 batting average on balls in play. That's the lowest BABIP by any team since 1968, the year of the pitcher. Castellanos himself had a .257 BABIP, which was extremely uncharacteristic of him. And although his strikeouts went up, it's what happened to the balls he put in play that is the most perplexing. His StatCast expected WOBA on contact was .494, putting him in the 94th percentile of all hitters. Great. But his actual WOBA on contact was .426, putting him in the 73rd percentile. Still good, but not what it could have been. That's a discrepancy one would expect from a hitter that's playing in a pitcher-friendly environment, not the hitter-friendly confines of Great American Ballpark. That's a big reason why I expect Castellanos to rebound offensively. His 14 home runs in 60 games last season were great, but I'd expect to see a far more productive hitter overall in 2020. He could hit for good average while still sending plenty of deep drives to left field, and yes, I do expect to be putting on this headset again. Because of some MF named Randy Arozarena's postseason outburst, a lot of people want to pump the brakes on him. Those brake pumpers invent this strawman fan that thinks Arozarena is the best player in the league, and then they argue against it by citing small sample sizes. But in truth, I've seen a lot more people warning about the Arozarena hype than people actually hyping him up. MLB Network ranked him in the clickbait spot of number 100 in their top 100, but I actually thought that was conservative. Not only did Arozarena bash 10 home runs in 20 postseason games, he also OPS'd over 1,000 in 23 regular season games. If you're hyping Ke'Bryan Hayes to the moon while pumping the brakes on Randy, isn't that a little hypocritical? For the record, I love both. Is Randy going to fall back to earth? Of course, but this guy can fall a long way and still be great. Randy Arozarena now has 190 big league plate appearances, including the playoffs. In those 190 plate appearances, his career expected batting average is .288, his career expected slugging percentage is .575. This is a player that should OPS at least 800 across a full season, with great speed and solid defense to boot. And you know what? I think he could do even better than that. In his 2019 rookie season, Austin Riley had an 86 OPS plus. In his 2020 sophomore season, he had an 86 OPS plus, and yet I think we saw a much more complete hitter in 2020 than in 2019. Riley's strikeout rate was cut from an inhospitable 36% to a reasonable 24%. He also walked more and pushed his average exit velocity to 91 miles per hour. Riley did this by showing that he's at least capable of hitting breaking pitches. Riley swung and missed at 29% of the sliders he saw in 2019. In 2020, that number fell to 21%. Progress. In fact, he went from a -5 run value on sliders to +3. Now he just needs to put it all together. We've seen him crush fastballs, particularly sinkers at times. We've seen him learn to deal with breaking and off-speed stuff, but this is the year where I think it all comes together. Riley will be exactly what the Braves need him to be in 2021, which is an above-average hitter who is serviceable at third base. Trent Grisham is entering his age 24 season, and he is really good. So good, in fact, that I almost ranked him in my top 50 players overall. Appearing in this video is his consolation prize. Grisham has found himself in a spot where if he's simply an above-average hitter for a full season, he's going to be a very valuable player. That's because of his elite center field defense, which earned him a Gold Glove award in 2020. It doesn't matter which advanced metric you look at. His defensive runs saved, ultimate zone rating, and StatCast outs above average were all elite at a premium position. At the plate, I like his discipline. He's not a free swinger. In fact, he swung at just 38% of the pitches he saw in 2020, tied for 10th lowest among qualified hitters. I expect double-digit walk rates and above-average OBP to be the norm for him. He's also a power speed threat. Grisham was one of 6 players with double-digit homers and steals in 2020. With the other 5 being Trey Turner, Trevor Story, Jose Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and his own teammate Fernando Tatis Jr. The Padres' core is defined by Tatis and Machado, as well as their terrific starting pitching, but Grisham is an integral part of what they do. If he can repeat his 2020 across a full season, he'll be a 5 to 6 WAR player, and if that happens, I should expect to see him at the All-Star game in Atlanta this season. Max Stassi had only 105 plate appearances last year, but the results were brilliant. He had a .278 average, .352 on base percentage, and .533 slugging percentage. This came off the heels of a dreadful 2019, where he had an OPS below 400 in 147 plate appearances. Of course, the real Max Stassi lies somewhere in the middle, but I think he's capable of being an average or even above average hitter, and the Angels are going to give him a chance to do it by serving as the 1A to Kurt Suzuki's 1B. Stassi hit the ball legitimately well in 2020, which he did by drastically cutting his strikeout rate, which is something that can actually begin to stabilize around 100 plate appearances. He was also third among all catchers in StatCast xwOBA. Where Stassi really gains a ton of potential value is in his defense. His value increases simply by being a catcher, but he's also a really good catcher. Fangraphs grades Stassi as the league's 5th best framer over the last 3 seasons, putting him in range of great receivers like Tyler Flowers and Roberto Perez. Much like Trent Grisham, Stassi just has to be an average hitter or better to be a very valuable player overall. We soon may be talking about Max Stassi as a top 10 catcher in the game. Well, that is all for now, but stay tuned because I have more videos like this on the way.